Awesome. We've got a lot of heart. Here is your ISA World Surfing Games contest format. The basics. 3 men and 3 women per team total. And the judges, Mitch, you've judged many heats. Basically, all of these words, go out there and surf as radical as you can.
And we've got a little paddle here for the start, possibly from our surfer of Chinese Taipei in the blue. It is Lui Ming Yang, and a great snap on his backhand. He is the U16 national champion there in Chinese Taipei, looking sharp off the start.
He was in surfers of all time, up against a young bloke from Chinese Taipei. Here's John on his opening ride. The red board standing out against the green sea and just flaring a couple of painted John style turns.
Opens up with a 717 for this one straight off the buzzer.
Wasn't such a great wave, but those turns were so powerful. That second one in particular was just...
For Team USA. Having a paddle here, we'll track with live action though for Do-hoon Yoon of South Korea. He has a paddle, is unable to get into it. So John, one of the goats of our sport, as Cote would call it, one of the greatest of all time, a 2-time world champion, an Olympian, and maybe, could be called the most stylish power surfer of all time. Up against 2 young surfers, 15-year-old Lui here from Chinese Taipei.
Having a look at this one. But this is one of the moments these young men will remember for the rest of their lives. Just made it look so easy, Shannon.
Goes for that front side air. Nice and simple.
To this event, I feel it, and I just don't want to miss out on Tahiti. I want to go there so bad, and so happy that surfing is into the Olympics. It's, it's done so much for us. So yeah.
As we see it here, let's have a look. Pumping, driving. Goes to the air, gets quite high, lands it cleanly, foam climb there, a bit behind the whitewater, no finishing turn. So you can see as we see it on the super slow-mo. Let's have a look. Pops out, finds that timing perfectly, grabs the rail. Look at the angle on the board, flattens it out, stays perfectly centered above the board, lands it so easily, makes the difficult look easy. And, it's just a pleasure to watch. Such a lovely human on land as well, as Leon Glatzer seemed to be too.
That's right, and win and put together some really incredible surfing. He got a 7 for one big turn, and it was one of those heats that, was the first to do something like that. John with a quick in and out, little check off the top to start, and he's
surfing near him. Then we see some distance between these 2 younger competitors from Asia and then John. There's a distance between them. If I was one of these young guys, he makes his way through to the inside. Nice backhand re-entry. Some good momentum going. 317, 2.5. That'll be better than the 2.5 you'd imagine, but potentially his best wave of this heat so far.
As we see the South Korean.
This situation, John Florence, the ISA World Surfing Games, you've only been surfing a few years, you're a young man, and all of a sudden simple things like finding a wave become difficult because of the size of the situation you find yourself. Let's hope he gets a couple and gets to shrug that pressure.
Dune starting to paddle farther over to where John is sitting. Maybe he'll have a look at those rights instead. Lui just caught behind the section on this one, and he's not going to be able to find that open face again. Finishing out at heat number 24 on their draw, and then we'll be returning bright and early, waiting for that call on where the different divisions will be competing tomorrow and what we'll be looking at moving forward. As we see Dune on the right gets that opportunity that he was looking for.
And he got to almost block out John Florence. John was paddling at that wave and he looked to the inside and saw Dahoon and went, I've got to pull out of this one. And I'm happy to see those guys go down and surf with him. China, Chinese Taipei, South Korea, those cultures that don't have surfing. Here he goes, he's up and riding again, the young man.
All right, so he's shaking off those nerves, going in for that first proper snap. He manages to carry through on the second turn, hits the lip and goes down. I love the design of that board, that straight line down the middle with the black and the red on either side.
And the catch, trying to catch waves. Now we can see it on the wave face, but he's getting the opportunity to be on the wave face and get rid of those nerves, which is what we wanted to see. John Florence.
Up and riding, nice quick hit for the start. Just being 12 heats on the women's main round, and then heading into men's main round 2 through the afternoon on that side. As we take a look at Dune really starting to get active here in the last few minutes of this heat. A full mentality switch.
Totally.
Absolutely in the last half.
Like once you've started moving and shaken the fear and you just start thinking about surfing and catching waves, it's a different thing. John doing something we hardly ever see. And if you're on the inside and you're Dahoon, you look out and you go, well, it happens to the best of us, and you feel even better about yourself.
A little lobster diving for John as we see Liu now with an opportunity. He's trying to hold on to that second place position, staying active. This was a great battle between second and third place. That was really exciting between these two surfers. That energy got kicked up by South Korea's competitor in the last few waves, and then for Chinese Taipei to hold on to that early lead and to be able to use priority to put some other scores down, though it didn't replace those top 2 scores he had early. Great work from him to just hold it down and get that advancing position.
Yeah, and surf and just catch some waves and build some confidence from there. That was, I feel like that was, you know, emotionally you sit here and you go, come on, mate, you want the underdog to get one. You want them to have a chance, and it was great to see them come out of the shell and get surfing.
In every way. John Florence with the straight air takes the lead. We'll be back with more action right after this.
World through surfing. We're achieving global surfing.
And this event is a marathon and not a sprint. You know, it's not one event that you're just going to have 4 or 5 heats to make it to the final. You have to surf probably at least 8 heats to make it to the main final. As we see our first heat of the morning, Kanoa Palmiano from Korea, Jin-Yu Kang from Korea. But how about world number 1 on the Championship Tour rankings, Griffin Colapinto, about to hit the water for the first time at La Wakana.
That's right, and I will say the South Korean team has been vastly improving each and every time they show up at these ISA competitions.
The 2+1 setups for the most part too. I'm really excited to see them surf out here with those boards.
All right, here we go, our first look. South Korean surfer Jin-Yuk Yang. Do not take these surfers from rising nations lightly. We've seen some big performances, and one of these South Korean surfers, if not both, will be getting through this round. Griffin Colapinto, you know, he has been on a competitive tear, his best year ever in competition. He gets up and at him, and that's kind of what you like in that board. Although that wave was pretty poor, you could see it had that glide. You know, he stood right up, and the board kind of does a lot of the work for you, gets him moving down the line. So a no-go there for Griffin Colapinto. 20 minutes on the clock. Top 2 surfers stay in the main round. 3rd and 4th place surfers go into repechage here in round 1. Griffin now winding up down the line.
Ouch.
Goes for the air, and a rare fall on a frontside air for Griffin Colapinto. He usually does those in his sleep, but tell me a little bit more. So you
is that you do feel that you get that push immediately after 1 or 2 pumps when you're standing up, just like this.
So Griffin fitting a turn nicely in that pocket. Has a section to work with on the inside. Nice power hook. Casual start for Griffin Colapinto, but a beautiful wave.
A good spot. And obviously, you know, Team USA, they're looking to defend their gold medal overall as a team, too. It would be huge for them to do it here.
Yeah, and you know Griff has Olympic dreams. Wow, nice reaction there for Kanoa Palmiano. It looked like his back foot slipped off. He fell down, kind of rode a goat boat style, but got right back up and straight back into it. So I give him full credit for being able to great matchups all day long. Go back to Griff, little stall to start this wave to build speed. Nice snap with the tail slide. Great flow down the line.
Quick, too.
Yeah, taking it, I would say that's about, 60, 70% for good. Thinking, okay, what size am I? Do I ride? I want one of those. It looks so fun.
I brought one in my quiver. You can ride it.
Oh, perfect. 10:20 to go. Now we're seeing surfer in blue, Kanoa Palmiano. So he's getting involved here. Yeah, I don't mind a little friendly fire between nations. We've got two South Koreans in this heat. Kelly Slater.
Yeah, I am. And
the GOAT.
I think even for Magina, too. I think for Italo, if you were to get there. And for Joao Chianca, too, who's on the Brazilian team right now. That would be an awesome venue for him.
Kanoa Palmiano. Backhand's looking nice. Good energy down the line here. This wave offering him up plenty of opportunity. Talking about his 5th backside whip. Gets the big finish. That is going to be a solid chunk of points for Kanoa Palmiano.
High total right now, his highest wave, in this heat. And get a read on the backhand here. Nice flow. Starts off well with the one carve into the lip right there. And then, unfortunately for him, the wave shouldered off, but he kept such a great pace on this one, just added more points with every single turn he had. And we don't count the number of turns here, we count the quality of these turns. Combination of major maneuvers in the most critical sections of this wave. So there were combinations. Maybe they weren't in the most critical parts of this wave, but the wave didn't really offer that either. So he surfed it as well as he could have. And a great finishing turn right there, too. I mean, for a 15-year-old kid to go up against the #1 in the world, against his teammate, looking for a spot in the next round, there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders right now, Chris. He did well.
I like that wave, and I like this one, too. Jinyuk Yang comes from underneath Griff. It's a nice pocket carve. Trying to get back on the open face. Quick snap there. You know, both these South Korean surfers have all the fundamentals, and you can just tell they're learning. They're rising quickly. And the wave pool we mentioned earlier, Wave Park.
And so far this morning, Griff taking a safer route to victory right now, but I think this is very smart. Don't injure yourself. It's your first heat. You know that you have a heat that maybe isn't as difficult as many others that you will have down the line. Test your equipment and get to know the wave. First time competing here for him. It's a big learning curve, but for the two South Korean surfers, there's still a chance for one of them to advance. And Yang only needs a 3.94 for Team USA. Griffin Colapinto will be moving through with the victory lap here, Chris. And just as we expected, cruising to victory, but more importantly, just getting your feel out there for your board for the entire competition. You know, he was at the ISA World Surfing Games last year in Huntington Beach, lost out early in the main rounds, if you remember.
That was a hectic event for Griff.
So this is a big, big win in terms of confidence for him here at the ISA. We're talking about #1 in the world on Championship Tour rankings. He's going to look good throughout the event.
No doubt, Team USA excited about Griff's casual victory there. If you want to see more of Griff on a board like that,